Welcome back to the Business Book Club. We're here to really cut through the noise and get to what works.
Exactly. And today we're digging into a big one.
We are. It's Scott Belsky's Making Ideas Happen, Overcoming the Obstacles Between Vision and Reality. A really influential piece of work.
Oh, absolutely critical, especially if you're in any kind of creative field. Belsky basically takes that old Edison quote,
Yeah.
The one about success being 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration.
Right, the hard work part.
Yeah. And he gives us the manual for that 99%. Getting the idea, that's, well, often the easier bit. It's building the, let's say, muscle for execution that trips people up.
So, okay, our mission for this deep dive is to unpack Belsky's core formula. He lays it out pretty clearly. Making ideas happen equals, well, it's the idea itself, plus organization and execution, plus what he calls the forces of community and leadership capability.
A comprehensive model.
And we have to start where, honestly, most great ideas seem to stall out.
Yeah.
Just moving from that initial spark to some kind of structure.
Absolutely. And the first big hurdle psychologically is what Belsky calls the creative's conundrum. It's this romantic notion we have about chaos.
That messiness equals genius.
Pretty much. That if we tidy up, if we put systems in place, we'll somehow, I don't know, scare off the muse or kill the creativity.
It's a real internal battle, and the book shows straight away what happens if you don't fight that urge. We see these examples like Chad, the screenwriter. Brilliant ideas, but just lost in his own messy notes.
Yeah. And Risa, the academic. Super smart, but totally isolated, hoarding research, never getting feedback. Both had potential, but nothing shipped.
And that failure point where ideas just get stuck on what Belsky calls the project plateau. That's why organization isn't just helpful, it's framed as a competitive advantage, which leads to this kind of shocking equation.
The impact equation, yes.
Tell us about that, because it really goes against how a lot of creative people think about success, right?
It does. The formula is super simple. Creativity multiplied by organization equals impact. So think about it. If you have, like, off-the-charts creativity, say, a score of 100, but your organization is 0.
Yeah, the 100 times 0 is 0 impact.
Exactly. Whereas someone with maybe average creativity, let's say 50, but they are incredibly organized, maybe a 2 on organization.
They get 100 points of impact.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that completely flips the script on the whole, disorganized genius idea. It's the organized person, even if less brilliant, who actually makes things happen.
Precisely. And you see it play out. I mean, look at someone like James Patterson, the author.
Pontific doesn't even cover it.
Right. He's managing 5, sometimes more, novels at the same time. People can critique the style, sure, but his output is just staggering. And it comes from this famously almost factory-like organized creative process. That's not some magic muse. That's organizational power enabling consistent execution. The bestseller lists don't lie.
Okay, so if organization is the edge, what's the practical fix? Belsky offers the action method, which sounds like it's designed specifically for creatives who, let's be honest, often struggle with traditional to-do lists.
It is, because most lists just become this dumping ground, right? Everything goes in, nothing gets prioritized, and we end up in what he calls reactionary workflow.
Just reacting to the latest email or notification.
Exactly. Putting out fires all day instead of doing the important stuff. So the action method combats this. It forces you to break every single project down into just 3 core components. The absolute most important one, action steps.
Action steps, okay, sounds crucial. The oxygen for the project, he calls them. What makes a good action step, according to Belsky?
2 key things. 1, it must be owned by a single person, no ambiguity. 2, and this is critical, manage them completely separately from your email inbox.
Email. The black hole of productivity.
Totally. It's where actions go to die because they get mixed up with the other 2 categories in the action method, backburner items and references.
Backburner items. So
Oh,
these are
yeah.
like ideas or thoughts that aren't tasks yet, but you don't want to forget them.
Exactly. Little sparks. Like, Belsky mentions James Taylor recording the melody for Sweet Baby James on a little micro recorder while driving. It wasn't an action then, just something to capture and revisit later.
Makes sense. And the third category is references, all the other stuff.
Yeah, all the non-actionable material. Notes, articles, sketches, background info. And Belsky's advice here is actually quite liberating. Don't kill yourself trying to file it all perfectly.
Really?
Yeah. Store it simply, maybe chronologically, or even just, get rid of a lot of it. The key is making sure it doesn't clutter your view of the actual action steps. Don't let reference material distract you.
Okay, structure makes sense. Action method.
Yeah.
But then you need the the drive to actually do the actions. Belsky pushes for a strong bias toward action, including this tactic that sounds a bit scary: act without conviction.
It does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're taught to wait. Wait for the perfect plan, wait for everyone to agree. But Belsky argues that waiting just breeds apathy. It kills momentum. It's actually better to take small, maybe imperfect steps early on just to test the waters.
Like prototyping.
Exactly like prototyping. Think about IDEO and their rapid prototyping. Build something quick and dirty. You learn way faster from a rough model you can touch and discuss than from weeks of just thinking about it. Fail small, fail fast.
And if you're going to act quickly, you also need to be okay with getting rid of ideas that aren't working. Kill ideas liberally. That sounds harsh.
It is, but necessary. You need like an immune system for bad or weak ideas. You have to subject your concepts to some really tough scrutiny.
And the example here is classic Disney, right? The 3 rooms.
That's the one. Room 1, wild brainstorming, anything goes. Room 2, start organizing, storyboarding, giving it structure. But the real test was room 3. They called it the sweat box.
The sweat box. Sounds intense.
It was. That's where ideas faced ruthless critique. Real idea bloodshed, as Belsky puts it. You absolutely need a dedicated, safe space for that kind of honest, sometimes brutal assessment. Otherwise, weak ideas linger.
Okay, so we've got personal organization and execution tactics. Let's shift a bit to team dynamics and prioritization. There's this trap leaders fall into: creators' immediacy. What's that about?
Yes. This is that instinct, especially for founders or senior leaders, to feel like they have to handle every single urgent operational fire themselves right now.
Like micromanaging the small stuff.
Kind of, yeah. They hoard the urgent tasks because they feel like nobody else can do it right or do it fast enough. But the result is they never get to the really important long-term strategic work that only they can do. They're constantly pulled into the weeds.
So the urgent drowns out the important. How do you fight that? How do you protect time for the big picture stuff?
Well, for teams, Belsky suggests creating a clear responsibility grid. Spell out exactly who handles which types of urgent issues. Make it explicit so the leader can't just reflexively grab it back.
And for the individual leader.
You have to carve out and fiercely protect what he calls windows of non-stimulation. Block off time. Turn off email, turn off Slack, turn off the phone. Dedicated time for deep work on the things that truly move the needle long term. It requires discipline.
Okay, discipline and structure. But ideas rarely happen alone. Which brings us to the forces of community. You need other people, right?
Absolutely. Execution isn't a solo sport. You need community for accountability, for feedback, for support. And one way to leverage community is through transparency.
Like putting yourself out there.
Exactly. Look at Tony Xia at Zappos. He famously used Twitter, being radically transparent about their core values, their progress, even their mistakes. By stating it all publicly, he created this powerful accountability mechanism for himself and the whole company. They had to live up to it.
And that accountability often works best in smaller groups, doesn't it? These circles Belsky talks about.
Yes. Small, trusted peer groups. The historical example he uses is fantastic. The French Impressionist painters.
Monet, Renoir, Degas.
Right. Their work was totally rejected by the establishment art world at the time, but they had their circle. They met constantly, supported each other, challenged each other, gave each other feedback. That circle kept them going.
And for that feedback within your circle to be useful, it needs to be practical, not just I like it or I don't.
Precisely, which is why Belsky recommends a really simple, practical tool.
Yeah.
The Start, Stop, Continue framework.
How does that work?
You just ask people, colleagues, clients, your Circle 3, direct questions. What should I start doing? What should I stop doing? And what should I continue doing? It forces the feedback to be concrete and actionable, not just vague opinions.
That's super useful, but engaging with community, getting feedback, sharing your work, that requires putting yourself out there. And a lot of creatives struggle with the stigma of self-marketing. They feel like it's bragging or being pushy.
Oh, absolutely. There's a real resistance. People think the work should just speak for itself, but that resistance can be fatal for an idea getting traction. Belsky uses this incredible story to illustrate it, the Joshua Bell experiment.
Oh, the violinist in the subway.
That's the one. Joshua Bell, one of the world's greatest violinists, plays a priceless Stradivarius worth millions. He plays incognito in a busy DC metro station during rush hour. Complex, beautiful back pieces.
And nobody noticed.
Almost nobody. A few people tossed some change in his case. He made about $32. Thousands of people rushed past this world-class genius because the context was missing. No concert hall, no marketing, no announcement.
Wow. So talent alone isn't enough. Context or marketing is essential.
It is. Marketing isn't about being arrogant. It's about building relationships, letting people know what you can do, creating the context so they can recognize and engage with your value. It's crucial.
Okay, let's move to the final piece of Belsky's formula, leadership and self-management. Especially when projects take a long time, how do leaders keep teams motivated? Traditional rewards like annual bonuses seem too far off.
They are often too distant, yeah. Leaders need to get creative and overhaul the reward system, build in more frequent, often non-financial rewards to sustain that long-term effort.
Like what?
Well, think about Zappos again. They famously prioritized employee happiness. Creating a positive, supportive environment was seen as a more powerful motivator in their service-driven business than just throwing money at people. Genuine satisfaction fuels persistence.
And sometimes it's about injecting fun, making it less of a grind.
Exactly. Incorporating play. G. Lee at Google Creative Lab, for example, made a point of integrating an element of fun, like his personal side project, the Bubble Project, into the demanding work environment. Games, humor, breaks in the intensity, they help maintain engagement over the long haul.
And what about simple recognition, just acknowledging effort?
Hugely important and often underestimated. Leaders need to distribute credit widely. There's a great quote from architect Joshua Prince Ramis. The genius sketch is a myth. Big ideas, big projects, they come from the team, the collective. Recognizing everyone's contribution is a powerful, low-cost way to motivate.
Okay, so that's leading others. What about leading ourselves?
Yeah.
Even with structure and community, we hit that final wall of resistance just before we launch something, right? Seth Godin's concept, the lizard brain.
Ah, the lizard brain, yes. That's the amygdala, the oldest, most primal part of our brain. Its job is survival, which means it screams fear and doubt and every possible excuse right when you're about to put your work out there. Don't ship it. They'll hate it. You'll fail.
So how do you beat it?
You just commit to shipping relentlessly. You accept that fear is part of the process. You acknowledge it, and then you hit publish anyway. Shipping regularly means you will fail sometimes, but it's the only way to create the chance for success. You can't succeed if you never launch.
And to keep that sense of urgency, that drive to ship, Belsky has one more concept.
Yeah.
The backward clock.
Right. It's simple, but powerful. Just the awareness that time is finite, it's always running out. That feeling isn't meant to be morbid. It's meant to be a motivator.
How so?
It increases your tolerance for risk. It makes you think, why wait? It pushes you to seize opportunities now rather than putting things off indefinitely. It fuels that bias toward action we talked about.
It really feels like the whole message here is that execution isn't some innate talent. It's a skill, a muscle you can build with the right tools and mindset.
Absolutely. It's learnable. It's trainable.
Okay, so for everyone listening, especially entrepreneurs, creatives, let's boil this down. 3 quick, actionable takeaways from Belsky you can start using, like today.
Okay, number 1, get structured with the action method. Seriously, separate your action steps owned by one person from your email and all that reference clutter. Keep actions sacred.
Good one. Number 2.
Embrace transparency and feedback. Use start, stop, continue. Ask for critiques regularly. Make it easy for people to give you actionable input so you can iterate and improve constantly. Don't hide.
Right. And number 3.
Adopt that bias toward action. Act without full conviction sometimes. Prototype. Create your own sweatbox for tough critiques and just keep shipping your work. Push past the lizard brain fear. Consistency wins.
Excellent. Before we wrap up, Belsky leaves us with this really interesting final thought.
Yeah.
He calls it the love conundrum.
Ah, yes, that's a powerful one. The idea is you have to love your initial idea that passion is the only thing strong enough to drag you through the incredibly difficult, often painful process of actually making it real.
Right.
The final result, the thing you actually build and ship, will always fall short of that perfect, idealized vision you started with. There will always be compromises, flaws, things that didn't quite work out. There's an inevitable sense of disappointment.
That sounds kind of depressing.
Well, here's the twist. Belsky says the depth of that final disappointment, that gap between the initial dream and the finished reality, that's actually the proof of how hard you tried, how ambitious your original vision was. It's a measure of the effort.
Huh. So the disappointment is actually a sign you aimed high. That's a fascinating way to look at it.
It reframes failure and imperfection as part of the journey of trying to do something meaningful.
A really powerful thought to end on. If you found this deep dive valuable and want more analysis of the books driving business and innovation, make sure you subscribe to the Business Book Club.
We'll be back soon with another one.
Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.